Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of 1923 Main Street.
Home of the Disney Travel Podcast with the latest Disney travel news. We are your hosts.
I am Mike Bello-Braddock.
And I'm Amelia Bello-Braddock. And today, both Walt Disney and the Hatbox Ghost are appearing at Walt Disney World.
Yes, we're taking a break from Christmas and festive stories this week, as a couple of other interesting travel-related Disney World stories have come to the top of the pile here. And if you are heading to Walt Disney World this Christmas, these are two great things to check out. First is, after much discussion at D23 and promises made, the Hatbox Ghost is now haunting the Haunted Mansion at Walt Disney World once again. He has returned, but is this a hit or a miss the way they did it? Let's talk about it. First of all, do you even like the Hatbox Ghost?
I have no personal connection to him.
Yeah, I guess you have no history. The youngins won't have the history, but you still may appreciate him.
There's a history here?
Oh, there's a long history. He was in Disneyland, and then he disappeared, and you've seen his picture around, I'm sure.
I'm familiar. It's just it's all lost on me.
All right, so let's talk first about where they did it. So, first of all, I wanted to say that the way this was described at D23 is not the way it was implemented, which I guess shouldn't be a shocker because we sort of have to take everything at D23 with a grain of salt, I think.
Well, I wonder, do they say these things and then later change their own minds? Or do they pre-say them knowing that they're not going to do exactly what they say?
I don't know. I think...
do they say it to dissuade competitors? I'm curious what the process is.
I think they just like to ensure us travelers that new stuff's coming, and they haven't fully baked it. Because if you recall, and we talked about it on an episode in the summer, they sort of made it sound like he was going to be appearing around in different parts of the Magic Kingdom Haunted Mansion. And that's not how it happened, but still, he is there, and he is in the spot at the end of the endless hallway that used to be occupied by the Donald Duck chair. Do you know the Donald Duck chair?
Don't recall Donald ever showing up in the Haunted Mansion.
Here's some Disney trivia for anyone who does not know what the Donald Duck chair is. So at the end of the endless hallway near the beginning of the ride, there was a chair, like a big armchair, and there's a scrolly design on the back of the chair that you look at. And if you look closely at it, it looks like Donald Duck. And not exactly, but you can sort of imagine Donald Duck's outline. And the original Imagineers who designed the chair was supposed to be a talking chair. It was going to talk.
Oh.
So it wasn't. Anyway, it was
a ghost chair.
Yes,
the ghost of Donald Duck past.
It became known as the Donald Duck chair. But anyway, I believe the chair is now gone altogether. I'm not sure. We haven't ridden it enough to see if we can spot it hidden somewhere else. But anyway, the Hatbox Ghost appears through this sort of cobalt blue glass door. And if you appreciate Disney detail, pay attention to muddy footprints that mark the Hatbox Ghost's path as he arranges his cart of hat boxes and luggage. And this, of course, there's new lighting. There's sort of moonlight on the scene and dim lantern, all the stuff.
It looks
you
rather
expect.
cool.
Yeah. They actually redid the lighting in the mansion and even outside to sort of accommodate this.
I like the Hatbox theme. I personally think they should sell Hatbox Ghost hat boxes.
I wonder if they do.
Try to merchandise off that.
We'll have to check out Memento Mori. And what he does...
I would be shocked if they don't.
They use, of course, projection. Not projections, but a lot of video
they do
stuff.
love their projections.
Sort of the way Constance is in the attic. So his head moves from his body into his hat box, which is under his arm. I don't know. While the implementation is sort of cool, it's not quite how I imagined it would be. I thought he was going to be, like they said, appearing in different places around. And maybe he still will. Maybe he will move around ultimately. I thought he was going to be just before the graveyard, where the little man was with his dog.
That's what I imagined as well. That's what I was picturing.
Anyway, are you happy? Do you care?
I'm happy because it makes you happy.
It is one of my favorite attractions there. Lots of history for me.
Although it does mean I'll have to ride the Haunted Mansion probably more than once next trip.
Yeah, we're definitely going in there again. And I think everyone will see him for sure in this spot. I don't believe he moves, as they said he was. So far, at least, not yet. So, anyway, if you like the Hatbox Ghost, he's back. If you want something new in the Haunted Mansion, you've got it. If you don't like the Hatbox Ghost and you didn't want the Haunted Mansion to change at all, you're going to be disappointed. But I think it's a good move it's nice to have the Hatbox Ghost in there.
They should do like an actually scary Halloween party and do like something really creepy with the Haunted Mansion.
Now, is he really the 1,000th haunt, or was he counted in the 999? Lots of debate over how many ghosts are in the mansion now.
Well, how do we know a ghost didn't leave and he replaced it?
This is true. I don't think anyone's keeping track.
I don't think there's like a formal press release Disney has to sign out. One of our tenants has left the mansion, unfortunately. But good news, guys. The Hatbox Ghost, he's moving back in.
Maybe they should have a little thing
There's still
outside,
a vacancy.
like McDonald's, burgers sold, ghosts in the mansion.
I think they should.
That would be sort of funny.
That's a good idea.
Moved. Yeah. Well,
they could, again.
I'm full of good ideas.
They could sell that too. They could have like a ghost in the mansion sign.
Yeah, a little one that you can have desktop at home.
Exactly.
All right, now to a more contentious new arrival.
Yes, if you're listening on release day, it is the birthday of the big man himself, Walt Disney. And on December 5th at Epcot, they have opened Dreamer's Point in the New World Celebration neighborhood. There is a brand new statue called Walt the Dreamer, which will be an instant trademark photo spot, especially if you like ones where he's sitting down.
Yeah, I like this because I like really what they did. I mean, they do put thought into this. So, the one, there's Roy, I believe, and even Goofy in the Magic Kingdom sitting on those benches.
Yeah.
So this is sort of that. It's on a concrete backdrop in this new part with the walls down. Moana's water display is there and everything else. Yeah. But this one, they made Walt look like he was in his later years when he was actually dreaming up Epcot and the Florida project. So they took at least there's that kind of thought and detail behind the statue.
I know it's brand new, but it looks like it fits very well. And it does give you the impression that it's been there for much longer than it has. So
now, do you like this? Do you care about this?
I think it's a nice addition. Personally, I think Epcot should be doing more rides, but then again, that's just me.
Yeah, I think it's a good addition too, because it was his own baby, right? Epcot, even though Epcot is not what he envisioned it to be. So I think it fits there. I'm not going to rush out to get a picture with it. I'm just not, I don't really care about these bench pictures, but I know if you do, that's cool. There's another one to do.
Yeah, I like the new area. I like that hopefully it'll divert some crowds away from stuff I want to do. I think it's nice.
Let's talk about the new area, because this is the contentious one related
if there was no one around, I would take a photo.
Exactly.
I'm not going to line up.
That's what I'm curious to see. How big are the lines when we're there in a couple of weeks? Now, or less than a couple of weeks. So it is in, of course, this New World Celebration Gardens, as it's called. And they've positioned this as where you can go relax and unwind. This used to be a more open area with the fountain in the middle. Remember, that's how it was. Now I
just remember the walls.
It sort of reminds me of the hub area of the Magic Kingdom in the way the pathways go, but it's much more lush, right? There's more trees. There's the Journey of Water with Moana and other things in there. And it sort of draws on Walt's original hub design for Epcot.
Yeah, they made it very earthy, which does sort of fit with the theme of Epcot. It's very agricultural in a nice way, I would say.
So I've seen now guests saying it's confusing, it's congested, they hate it, right?
Oh, well, yes, naturally.
Comments that I used to have about Animal Kingdom, actually, right? Getting around Animal Kingdom.
It was a nice plan.
But others think it's great. And I personally agree with the fact that when these trees mature, there's going to be a lot of shade there. And this is my biggest pet peeve with Epcot. I mean, how many times have we just baked in the sun, especially on the summer trips?
How many times have we been to Epcot?
Have we baked in the sun at Epcot in the summer?
I'm asking you, how many times have we been?
A lot.
Then a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's not so bad in March, right, when we do our spring trips, but when we do our summer trips and our winter trip coming up, that's fine. But the summer trips, it is hot, and there's really no shade.
It's always hot.
It's hard to find shade at Epcot. So this area, once it really matures and grows in, I mean, it's going to be a great shady spot. I think it's something Epcot desperately needed. So that's why I liken it to Animal Kingdom.
Because then the difference with Epcot is they have more stores to escape into. Animal Kingdom doesn't really have... Personally, I don't think they have very many good shopping options, whereas Epcot has tons. They have connections and the eateries and all of the different pavilions. Like the Japan Pavilion has a store that stretches 8 miles.
Yes, that's a good tip. If you want a big store where you can really cool off, head to Japan.
They've got some nice stuff in there too. Yeah.
But if you look at Animal Kingdom, which is my biggest comparison for this, when it first opened, the Tree of Life, which is not real, spoiler alert, it really stood out. It was huge. It stood above everything else. Now, all the natural trees around it have grown up to the point where the Tree of Life is almost starting to blend in more with the forest. And this also happened at Tom Sawyer Island at Magic Kingdom. Of course, nature, trees grow.
Yeah, maybe one day the Tree of Life will be like the small little stubbly tree in the
it could be, and I really hope they would never cut down the trees around it just to make it stand out again. But the point is that even 10 years from now, 5 years even, we're going to notice that becoming what the Imagineers really dreamed it would be. Lots of shade in that area. So all in all,
there is a bit more forethought than just, it looks bad now.
Yeah, and I think that trumps the fact that it's not, people are used to that area being pretty wide open, but it was a concrete absorbing heat and just baking in the sun. That will no longer be the case. They've turned it lush and green.
That's true.
They took Walt Disney's sort of hub and pathway approach that he had in the original Epcot plans and tried to incorporate it there. And of course, the statue helps out. So there you go. That's my take on it.
Guys, it's got to be better than the walls.
Exactly.
Think of it like that way.
It's going to be nice just to walk through. Now, you're sure you might get lost, but hey, it's not a bad place to get lost. Exactly. It's not that big of an area either. So the point is the pathways that radiate out, they're going to take you out.
Just think of it as a fun little maze for your kids.
Yeah, well, that's what it's not. It's actually not a maze. It's the good part is that you can get out on any one of those paths. You may not come out where you thought you would.
Listen, it's a maze if you're 5. It's a maze if you're 5.
If you're 5, yeah, I'll give you that. And it's going to be more mazy once those trees grow.
Exactly.
All right, so there you have it. 2 new additions, 2 new characters of sorts reappearing at Walt Disney World, Walt Disney himself, and the Hatbox Ghost. Which one do you like more?
That's a good question. I don't know. I think the Hatbox Ghost is a classic. It's nice that it returns.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's almost, maybe we should ask this poll. This will be up. I haven't done a poll for a while. Let's do this poll, listeners. If you could be transported instantly to Walt Disney World right now and you have not seen either one of these things, would you want to be transported to Epcot to see the statue of Walt Disney? Or would you want to be transported into the Haunted Mansion to see the new Hatbox Ghost?
Can I be transported onto Rock and Roller Coaster?
No, that is not an option right now.
Darn.
All right, that's the news for this week. Thank you, as always, for listening. Follow along on social media at 1923 Main Street. Join us at 1923mainstreet.com. We'll see you again next week with the latest Disney travel news, and have a magical day.
Bye-bye.